What is up? What is up, everyone? Davin Wickstrom here with Vibro and Foodservice Unfiltered. Hope everyone is having a fantastic week. For those first time, Foodservice Unfiltered, what is it? It is a conversation with the leaders, the sages, the disruptors in our industry. It's unscripted, which makes it absolutely amazing. And we're going to take those lessons from the people we're interviewing along the way, and hopefully that provides some value for you all. Before we get started, a couple shout outs. First, I have to thank Vibro, as always, for the space and place to serve and have this platform. Also wanted to give a shout out to our friends at SHFM and the Critical Issues Conference we had this week in New York. It was fantastic. I had a great time. Lots of stuff on AI. I feel smarter because of it. Also wanted to give a shout out to our friends going to NAMA and FCSI next week. I will be at FCSI next week, which I absolutely cannot wait for, which it's so apropos my guest today that I'm going to have on. I'm going to bring him on and I'm going to talk about him, and I can already hear his eyes rolling. So here we go. So my first guest today is Wade Koehler. And Wade, I'm reading so I don't miss anything. Wade is the executive director of FCSI, the Americas. This is where the eye rolling begins. Wade is an innovator, a servant leader, a podcaster, a force in our industry, and he's on the cutting edge of what's next. He leads with passion, education, and unrelenting gear to make a real difference. Wade is also a sneakerhead, a Sloth supporter, a father, a friend, and a grandfather. And unfortunately, he is also a Green Bay Packers fan. So we only chirp maybe twice a year, but that's okay. That will never come in the way of our friendship. Wade, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, buddy. I'm happy to be on. And the good news is I don't have to chirp because we win. So it's one of those areas where, when you pick the right team to support, it just kind of takes care of itself.
Wade, I want to argue with you, but like one win every decade is all my Bears have been able to muster. So I can't really say that much.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. No, and I feel for you. I do. Sometimes when you're playing anyone else except the Packers, I feel bad for you.
We can probably agree on the Vikings. Our disdain for the Vikings. You know, we can just beat them twice. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to our friends up in Minneapolis that work at FCSI. Are members of FCSI that are Vikings fans, and again, feel sorry for them.
Yeah, we do. Our friends are rippy. Like, we love them. They're doing some amazing work, but unfortunately, they too have a team, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, I thought I'd jump in, and I think it's apropos. We were just talking before we got on. And this is a lot for viewers that may not know what FCSI is and what exactly that they do. Could you talk about FCSI and then talk about what's happening next week for you and the whole FCSI crew?
Yeah, so FCSI in a nutshell is the way I kind of explain it to a lot of people is, for the most part, commercial kitchen architects, and not just the designers. We've got management consultants as well, from chef recipe development to accounting to marketing to organizational management to pretty much any kind of restaurant consulting or food service consulting you can think of. But probably what we're mostly known for, and majority of our members do, are commercial kitchen architects, so they get, whether they're hired by the restaurant group or whether they're hired by the manager or the owner or whether they're hired by an architect, they're given a square footage and a shape and said, here, we need you to design the kitchen space for us. And from that standpoint, then, and most people probably know, but then we don't just say an oven goes here and a dishwasher goes here and, all that. It gets down to the very minutia detail when an FCSI member is involved. As a designer, you've got to think about gas lines, water lines, drains, grease traps and hand washing sinks and all that besides the equipment. So you've got to, and in addition to that, flow of the kitchen from prep to cook to serve, and then also sometimes front of the house design and how it's going to go out the door. And we specify down to the model number most of the time. So it's not even just, like I said, not just a dishwasher. It's this brand, this model work best for this operation. So, so we get very fortunate with FCSI that we get a lot of support from our manufacturing partners when it comes to education, when it comes to sponsorships and things of that nature. So it's a fun group. The best part about it is a majority of our members of FCSI on the consultant side are small business owners. About 75 to 80% of our members have small businesses that are 10 people or less in their firms. And so, they look to us to give them the education and the networking that maybe they wouldn't get on their own because they're too busy working on running their own business. So that's what next week leads into. It's the FCSI biennial conference. Every other year with non-NAFLM years, I get to do a full 2.5 day. Now it's turning into a 3.5 day conference with the inclusion of our Epic group, which is our young members having their own day prior to the conference now. And so, and honestly, it's the most fun that Steph and I get to have. We work for a year in advance with conference planning committee members and planning everything from, the colors of the tablecloths down to the AV to the education speakers and flow and schedule and everything. And so next week we get to bring everybody together. I'm really excited. We've never taken over an entire hotel with FCSI. And this is going to be the first year we do it. We're at the Wigwam Resort in Phoenix, Arizona, or actually out in Litchfield Park near Goodyear. And we have 97% of the rooms reserved at the hotel. So pretty much anywhere you go, you're going to run into somebody with FCSI, which, again, increases that networking opportunity. You really, in a great way, you can't get away from people. Like it's going to be everywhere you go is FCSI people. And the other benefits of that are the hotel has been so amazing to work with so far. Kind of letting us do sort of whatever we want to do because it's kind of our hotel for the week. And so I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a great turnout so far. I think as of yesterday, we're a little over 350 people. So wow. We're in a great thing there. And then the moment I get done with this, a week from Monday, I will start planning on next year's event, which is a symposium we do prior to the NAFLM show. That one's a little bit easier to plan only because we have one night party and 1 day of education. And then the NAFLM show starts up. So it's a little bit easier, but there's still a lot of the same stuff that goes on every single conference and every single symposium. So the same minutia details we have to go through. So I serve as executive director. Like I'm the leader of the staff. I'm the leader. I've kind of become known as the one constant, with any association, your executive director or executive vice president, whatever your lead staff officer's name is, they're kind of the face of the organization because they stay there year after year after year. Whereas presidents and chairs and everybody, every 2 years for us, we rotate. So for better or worse, people get to see me on a regular basis. And I've been doing it for 16 years as their executive director. And I love them. I love the whole group. I love the whole association. I love the whole industry. The food service industry, as you know, is so welcoming, is so much fun. FCSI are great to work with. The thing I love most about working with FCSI members are because they're small business owners, they appreciate what we do as staff. There's no treating us like staff, and I've seen that at other associations. That we really are part of a team, and we get a lot of respect from them because they need us to do and want us to do what we do for them. And we're very staff-driven organization versus volunteer-driven organization. And because of that, it just makes a great working opportunity, a great, I own the AMC as well. So I'm not actually employed by FCSI. I'm employed by my company, along with my employees that work for FCSI. And so it's just, when you've got a client like FCSI, like I do, it just makes life so much more enjoyable on a regular basis.
Wade, it really is a great group. And for those that don't know, can a food service consultant just say, hey, Wade, I want to be a member? Or how does that work? Is there education, certification? Like, how does that work?
So with FCSI as a consultant member, you have to be an independent food service consultant, meaning you can't sell equipment. You can't, your firm can't be involved with selling equipment or taking specification credits or money or any kind of perks for that. So we have to do some background checks a little bit to make sure that you qualify for that. And then in addition, we'll go through a vetting process to make sure that we do interviews if needed, or they get endorsements from current members. Once you're a consultant member, then if you want to move up in the ranks to a senior associate or a professional member, then there is some further applications and further things to go through. When you want to become a professional member, which earns you the initials FCSI after your name, you have to take a certification exam. We don't call it certification, but it's the same situation. Essentially, it's a 100-question exam, similar to the CFSP or something of that nature that you need to study for, because you will not pass it if you don't. And it's and once they get those letters, then they have to continue getting continuing education credits every year. Every step does, not just professional members, all of them do. CEUs every year, and if you don't qualify, you don't get enough CEUs, then you either get demoted. So a professional member would go back down to senior associate down to an associate would lose their membership. There's not a lot of hours involved with it. It's 3, 6, and 12 as you go up, but it's very important to FCSI. It's very important to us. And honestly, there's so many opportunities available via our conferences, our webinars, partnerships that we have with our manufacturing partners that do education provider program sessions for us, for our members. So it's not too hard to get those numbers, but it does show our commitment that you need to keep learning as you go, that once you get the letters or once you're a member, things don't stop. You still need to keep on top of the industry.
And Wade, as somebody, our friend Shane Varnum is somebody that sees all the associations. I will talk about FCSI, where it really is about education first, and then networking naturally happens. What I really appreciate about that group is it's a high bar. There's a certain amount of education, how you approach the industry, which makes everyone better, and everyone's held to that same standard, which ultimately helps the clients and helps everyone in the life cycle of food service by just elevating in that bar.
100%. We expect a lot of our members. We consider ourselves to be the best of the best, so that's what we're looking for. And we have code of ethics people have to abide by. Matter of fact, we're kind of working on those right now behind the scenes and kind of tweaking those as we go this year. And, there's a lot of initiatives we're working on behind the scenes with the board to bring to FCSI to keep making, just like a consultant, just like you, just like everything else, we have to keep evolving the association to make it relevant in the industry. So we're constantly looking at that, as well as the education and networking side of it. The one thing I'll say is about FCSI is, and I tell all consultants, is if you're joining FCSI expecting us to get you business, don't do it. You probably won't get a lot of business out of us. As far as leads from us, we're not a lead generation group. We are a networking and education based group. That being said, we do get leads from time to time. Where we find most of the leads come from nowadays, though, are from each other. Again, small business owners, you can only handle so much business. So that has changed significantly in the 16 years that I've been managing FCSI, the Americas, where you're seeing more and more firms kind of partnering on things. If I don't have the bandwidth to do it, then I will, reach out to a colleague that I trust, and vice versa. When they get slow, they might reach out to me. So we kind of throw each other, subcontracting business.
And Wade, that happens organically, meaning you're working with, it could be a competing firm, but it's really not. It's somebody you've known, you know their product, you know their team. that, gosh, I may not be able to do this kitchen in healthcare. I'm going to reach out to so-and-so.
Right.
And that helps the customer ultimately.
Oh, 100%. And honestly, that's why our events are so important, and why we put a lot of emphasis on networking opportunities and networking time, because we know that that's where a lot of it comes from. I've been doing event planning and conference planning for 30 years. I feel like I know things pretty well. I'm still learning as I go as well, but you get just as much from an education session as you do from the bar at night, or from sitting, at a table at lunch, or whatever it is. If you bring up the conversation, you don't know what that person across the table is dealing with. And it might be the exact same problem you're facing, and neither one of you have any idea, but you find out that both of you have a fix for something else maybe you're dealing with. So learning those from each other, I've been in association management again for 30 years. This FCSI is the most networking heavy organization you will ever see. It is all about relationship building. From a manufacturing side, from a consultant side, it is incredibly heavy. The consultants have to rely on you guys as manufacturers when they're getting ready to spec something. If they can't memorize or know every single detail about every single piece of equipment. So that, they have to know that they can call up Davin and go, hey, I'm thinking about putting this here. Will it work? And they have to know that when they ask you that question, that they're going to trust the answer they're going to get is honest and not some sales pitch. It's going to be, yeah, it'll work, or it'll be, yeah, of course that'll work. And also here's what we can do with it. So, those type of things, in addition to, potentially new business for them, is what's really important when you're on site. And I see that on a regular basis. I mean, I've learned enough, and Penny, who's been with me working on FCSI for 13 years now, we learned a long time ago on the opening party of FCSI nights, just don't do anything. Give them a bar and give them food and maybe a little bit of entertainment in the background, but otherwise get out of the way, because we've tried doing big entertainment and it just gets ignored. Everybody's just too happy to see each other and talk to each other again.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, Wade. At the core, and I heard it this week. I actually heard it from Gary Crompton, the CEO of Aramark on Business Dining. He goes, we just feed people. It's not just feeding people, but it's about food. It's about experience. It's about, sharing time together. And I will say to any manufacturers listening, do not sell FCSI consultants or any consultants at any point. Do not be this guy or this girl. Really, to your point, Wade, it's about education, partnership, and if they trust you, they know they can call you if they need something done.
100%. It is really about that trust, which takes some time, and not everybody understands that at times when they first come into FCSI. They'll come to a conference. Like for next week, it's going to happen. Some manufacturer that's new, or somebody that's new within a firm or with a company that's been around for a long time, it's going to be their first conference. They're not going to know anybody, and they're going to leave. If they don't reach out and get help from other manufacturers or from staff, then they're going to leave potentially dissatisfied that they didn't meet a lot of people, because I would say it seems cliquish, but really it's not. When you sit back and watch the back of the room at FCSI, you see everybody walking around talking to everybody, but it's always like these little groups of people. And so it would seem cliquish from times, but really, if you really watch everything, it's not really the same cliques. It is just groups of people talking and people moving around. I encourage everybody, especially first timers and everybody, if you don't know anybody, whether you're a consultant or a manufacturer, come find one of us at staff. Find somebody on conference planning committee. We all wear, some kind of usually uniform-ish type shirt or something. In this case, we'll have these heather green hoodies, which doesn't make a lot of sense in the desert when it's going to be 90-some degrees to be wearing hoodies. But when you're inside of the desert and you're not used to it, it does get cold. We found that out in Austin. I bought everybody hoodies in Austin 2 years ago, not thinking anybody would wear them because we had the t-shirts as well. Found out that most people wore the hoodies most of the time. So we decided to do that again. So anyway, off track there is come find us, come find conference planning, anybody you want, and I'll take you around and introduce you to people.
Yep.
I'll introduce you to the right people that know people and put you into the mix at least to begin with. After I do that, it's kind of up to you to, kind of get to know people. But I'm happy to do that for people. I love doing that for people.
And Wade, like I'm thinking, like you can find a Sojo Alex or Scott Rotano or Tara Schroeder or just any of these, like Christine Guillot, any of these leaders within FCSI. They absolutely are so generous with their time and their knowledge. And
because
be yourself.
They want that. I mean, the consultant also wants that relationship, right? Like we talked about. They want to know that they call you, they can trust you. And if they don't know you, they're not calling you, and there's obviously no trust. So it really is they want to get to know you. It's not that they're trying to be standoffish, just everybody in that room. And we have about a 50-50 mix. So right now we're sitting at around, I think, 55 to 45% ratio of manufacturers to consultants. So for every consultant, I've got a manufacturer. So there's always that talking going on. So it does feel like it's hard to break in, but trust me, you could be. I see plenty of people, yourself included. I couldn't tell you your first FCSI event, but it hasn't been that long. But
right.
Hell, you know everybody now.
Yeah. I was a C student in college, Wade, but I'm smart enough to listen and ask leading questions. Like, so, God bless me with that. And then you sit back and listen, because consultant will tell you what they need. And just maybe I'm smart enough or not smart enough. I don't know how to be other than myself with them. So maybe that's the key. Just be yourself.
It is. And if there's a problem, they want to know that they can talk to you about that as well. They want to know that they can be honest with you and tell you the problem they're having. It is a trust thing. And if you hear stories going back to the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s, there are some things that have happened between consultants making a mistake that a manufacturer took care of for them, and vice versa. So like that's where those trust things come into play, that to know that I can trust that you're not trying to sell me all the time. And I also know that if I make a mistake or you make a mistake, that we can be honest and open about it and figure out how to fix it. Because in the end, it's all about that restaurateur or that food service operation. It's all about that plate of food going out the door, right? So everybody's in it for the same reason. It's the person that's dining there, not necessarily about the kitchen.
Which is, about experience. And, Wade, as you were talking, I was thinking too, FCSI, you can have a love of the technical, like you want to get your head in a Revit or CAD file and see how the kitchen, but you could also just have a love of culinary or operations. It really doesn't matter like where your passion lies. There's a home for you to find, I guess, leave your mark within this group.
Yeah. And honestly, we're seeing the lines blurred more and more over the last, right before COVID, but since COVID, we've seen the lines blur even more and more between clients that need the management side of things as well as the design side of things. And so, the management consultants that do things like organizational redevelopment or training or even time management type stuff or recipe development, whatever it might be on that side of what we call MAS, they're finding that they're actually getting a lot of leads now from the designers and vice versa. So they'll start with something, do an organizational redevelopment or something, a reorganization of something. And the next thing you know, now they need a designer because the client trusts them and they want that designer. So they go hire the designer as a subcontractor and vice versa. So the management side is just as important as the design side. It's just not as visual, right? Like you can see the kitchen that's designed. You can talk about it. You can put it on paper. The management consultants, like what Sojo does and others, it's harder to put on paper. It's an article. It's a great article. And you can talk about it. It's hard to put down on paper what they do when it comes to feasibility and organizational and, all the studies they do and the research they do. And, and sometimes those take years before they see fruition. So especially a college campus or something, they don't move fast. So
no, they don't, Wade. No, they don't. So you're leaning into it. I'm going to talk about FCSI a little more. For people that are going, maybe it's their first time, what can they expect next week? Like without, I guess sharing everything.
That's okay. First of all, we're in Phoenix. It's going to be sunny and it's going to be warm. That's going to be the best thing. If you're from the Midwest or the East Coast, you're going to welcome it. If you're from the Southeast or the South, it's going to be just like it's been. But for us that are like, I'm in the Midwest, I can't wait. I'm ready for the sun and the warm. But so opening party night, food and drink. I don't do a lot of stuff, but we are doing kind of a post dinner thing, which should be fun. I don't know if I can give it away, but I will. I'll throw a little few bones for you here today.
Love it.
We are taking over the entire bar of the hotel with their permission. And
fantastic.
So from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., we're bringing in dueling pianos, and we are opening the bar, and it's going to be out in the courtyard of the Wigwam. And so from 8 to 10, if you want to come have fun and with dueling pianos, you can do that. If you want to stay out on the other side of the building where the food and the other bars will be, because you don't want to participate, you don't have to do that either. So you can go either way on that. On Friday night, we've got we're doing something similar. I don't like to repeat a lot of stuff, but there is the one event that people have told me for many, many years now was one of their favorite event they've ever gone to at FCSI. So we're repeating it with a different scenario, if you will.
Okay.
We're bringing in we're going to have singer-songwriters from Nashville flown in. Between them, they've got multiple Grammys. And they are going to give us a 2-hour concert on the lawn of the hotel outdoors. So they're going to talk about the songs they've written, who they've written for, then they'll perform the songs. It was an amazing event we did in Nashville in 2016. And so I don't like to repeat things, but I've had so many people over the years say that, that was one of their favorite things. And we were in a honky tonk in Nashville before. This is outdoors. I just felt like this was the right venue to pull it out again. And then we end on usually kind of a low key thing. We're taking everybody to Chicken and Pickle. It's over in Goodyear, and there's bags, there's cornhole, there's outdoor. We're gonna have a DJ. And it's kind of just a low-key type night to just drink and eat and have fun with people, and not a lot of entertainment other than the DJ. And another thing we're doing that, again, this is conference planning, and I let them kind of choose their area, is Friday afternoon, we're taking a few hours off. Everybody's overworked right now. So in the afternoon, we're ending a little bit earlier than normal, and we're having a DJ by the pool. We're taking over the entire pool, and with some cabanas and stuff, and having a DJ there. And then Brent Hall, our current chair, is going to be in one of the cabanas, kind of hosting a Q&A, if you will. Like, anybody's welcome to come talk to him and get to know him if they don't know him, and some of the other board members, I'm sure, will be out there as well. And so kind of a low-key Friday afternoon, but hopefully people will go and relax. But honestly, if you need to go back because all these people most members of FCSI, like I said, small business owners, time is money. So if they have to go back and work on something, they've got some time there to go back and work on something in their room and then still come back out and not miss any of the conference, not miss the education, not miss any of the fun. So you don't have to make that choice then. What am I going to miss in order to get some work done?
Is somebody started? And Wade, I can tell you, somebody on the circuit always like a little time, like, if you will, to whether recharge, resun. As a fellow Midwesterner, I yearn for the sun. It's not out today here where I am, and can't wait to see it there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love the fact that, you heard it here first, Wade, what we got going on for conference. So
that's right.
Any of you folks listening, if this is your first time, it's going to be a great event. Really looking forward to it.
It will be. It will be. I hope anyway.
Yeah. And by the way, Wade, I love this. I'm going to just pivot a little bit. I love having you on the podcast. You do your own podcast. So I love the fact that I've switched seats and to have you on the other side here. Can you talk to folks about that and how it kind of ties into, your passion and what FCSI is about, just a little bit?
Well, if anybody is when anybody's watching this, whether it's now or later, you'll see that I have no problem talking. So, and keeping a conversation. So, but what really came out of it was during COVID, when we first shut down, we were doing weekly happy hours with FCSI. And while I've said this story before, it goes without saying. What I learned quickly was we'd be sitting with 40 to 80 people in this room, and it was a free for all. There was no script, there was no structure. It was kind of like therapy, if you will, every week. What are you experiencing in your neck of the woods? What are you experiencing in this part, and how are you dealing with this? And it wasn't just work. Some of it was about what your mental health was like and things. And so it was kind of an open forum every week. But what I found interesting was I've been around long enough that everybody knows me. So I was getting these private messages within Zoom at the time from consultants going, who's this person? Who's that person? And they were other consultants. And I'm like, that's odd, because one, they should hopefully know each other better, but also two, some of those people have been at the same conferences recently. So this goes back to how often you can get around the room to see each other. So then I got to talking with staff and then our media partner to Fuse and Eric Havlin and those guys that helped me do the podcast. I said, you know what, let's do a podcast on interviewing consultants, and let's not do about business. Let's just talk about them. Let's get to know the consultants better. So it was kind of like for FCSI, I looked at it as internal marketing. The consultants would get to know each other better. The manufacturers would get to know the consultant better. And we kept it kind of like, okay, who are you? What's your specialty? What do you love about your job? And it was really 15 to 20 minute conversation between me and a consultant. And we would always end with something dumb, with would you rather questions. I love those. It brings out people's personalities. Yep. And it was unscripted. So nobody ever knew the questions they were going to get, because I wanted it to be an organic conversation between me and the consultant. Yeah. And so we started it with On Tap, and we ended up going 4 seasons. And after that, we kind of were starting to get a little, we'd gone through a lot of consultants, and the demand to get people, plus we were filming all of them. So we were filming roughly 15 to 20 per season, and we were filming them all in 2 days. So I would go down to the studio, and I would sit there for 2 days nonstop filming one-on-ones the whole time. And we got to the point where we need to take a break. People were complaining that there were so many episodes, they weren't catching up because it was coming out often. So we said, let's take a break. But I said I didn't really want to do a full break. We've been doing the Project Showcase publication for years. So I said to Eric, and I said to the board at that point, what if we pivot, not do On Tap, and we start actually interviewing the people that make it into the Project Showcase, to give us more marketing opportunities to the industry now. Yep. So external marketing, and talk about the great stuff that our members are doing that get into the publication. So we started that with the Art of Culinary Spaces, and we just finished the last season and getting ready to start filming the next season. And that is all about the projects. We don't really talk about the consultant too much, other than we're interviewing the consultant, and sometimes we interview the operator, but we're talking about the project that was in the showcase specifically. And that way that it's kind of a double bonus for FCSI. We get the publicity from the magazine or the publication. We also get to film the episode about the facility, but we also don't brand it very much. So we then can give it to the consultant, and they can use it then for their own marketing. They can take that podcast. Sure. They can do it. We don't do, so we try to keep everything pretty clean with that, which does cost FCSI some money, but we felt it was better to go that way than to start selling it and start having, ads and everything else. Not to say that won't change down the road, but getting ready to start filming that. And we're actually bringing On Tap back this year. So we've taken a 2-year hiatus. We're going to bring it back later this year. We've got enough new members in as well. So I think we want to bring in some of the newer members. And of course, nobody's ever interviewed me yet. And I keep getting threatened all the time that On Tap is going to have to be an episode about me.
Yes.
Penny from my staff is certainly one of them, because when I filmed with her, she does not like to be on camera. And I don't think she talked to me for about 4 or 5 days afterwards. So she was so angry with me. So
Pennies
I
and
understood.
peach. Yeah.
But she's got an amazing background. So, and she's so nice and so funny
Yeah.
and so nice, sees everything through rose-colored glasses. I knew everybody needed to know who she was. Plus,
Yep.
her background was just a really cool background of who she used to work for, and rub elbows with some celebrities from time to time. And so I felt everybody needed to do that. And I've got a new staff member with Kristen that's been on my staff now with FCSI for about a year and a half, 2 years now. And so people need to know who she is. So we're gonna sucker her into having to be on an episode now too.
Absolutely.
Which she's not been told that yet. So this might be the first time she hears about it.
We are breaking news left and right, Wade. So I love this. I love that. And you know, just I've watched multiple sessions. What I found beneficial is even a manufacturer, I can listen in to a project and go, oh gosh, like this is a pain point for an operator, or this is what a consultant is either struggling with or finding success with. That makes the manufacturer more educated. They can understand. So it's really beneficial. And of course, you being you, Wade, you bring down any kind of tension. You're just talking about you're just talking.
It's just them. It's just me and them talking like you and I are today. It's like there's no, and we film. We don't do live streams. We do it. We film everything. So they know that we can edit anything out. If they say something, if they trip over something, we can edit things out. And my goal is never to make anybody look bad. I want them to shine. So, and as long as they understand that, and again, it's easy to talk about yourself. Right. And so on the Art of Culinary Spaces, they do get those questions usually a day in advance. I don't give them a lot of time because I've seen too many podcasts, especially in the beginning, where you'd give the questions to people in advance and then people would memorize their answers and you could hear the memorization as they were answering the questions. So I avoid that.
Or as they're reading down the list, Wade, of here's my answer to you.
It is. And I'm sure that there's pros and cons of that, right? If you're doing the podcast, if they have the questions in advance, they know they can cover everything they want to cover. The downside is most likely they're going to memorize it and they're going to trip over something at some point. The bad side of it is they may forget something that they wanted to say, but I've had that happen where they said, oh, I forgot to mention this. And so we just get back on the camera and we do it. We do it one question and we edit that in and nobody knows the difference. It's filmed.
It's amazing. I'll reiterate it. And I know this is not a commercial for FCSI. If you haven't signed up, you may not have a room. Go and definitely NRA if you have an opportunity during the networking event. You absolutely want to. I can tell you from a manufacturing side, the education and knowledge and trends, frankly, that helps my company personally know about where healthcare and senior dining and higher ed and corporate dining is going. It is, you can't beat it with the sick. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wade, I wanted to pivot a little bit, and my hat's behind me. I don't know if you can see it. I just want to talk about also like your. I don't want to. You'll tell me what kind of project it is. I'm going to call it a side project. And talk to me about Sloth Golf. I'll just leave it there and just talk to me about that and really how that came to be. It's super interesting.
So I've been a planner, a meeting planner, and an association person, like I said before, for 30 years. So my entire life, when we've gone on family vacations, I've got 2 kids that are grown. My wife and I have been married 31 years. So it's one of those areas where I've planned everything. And so I can't say that I really enjoy, I had fun at vacations, but it was always like, I'm planning it. And so as a planner, you kind of take the joy out of it a little bit because you're worried about staying on it. So there have been some vacations where I've not planned it as deeply. And I enjoyed those more. So where this came about was last year in 2025, my wife, one of my wife's best friends lives in Costa Rica on the East Coast, in Limon area, and actually in Coweta. And she had gone through some health issues. So my wife and one of her other best friends that lives here in Bloomington, Illinois, where we live, wanted to go down and see her. And so wanted, and then of course my wife wanted me to go, and then Emily wanted her husband to go. So the four of us, two couples, decided we were going to go down and see Jen in Costa Rica, because we'd never gone down there. My wife and Jen, or my wife and Emily had been there before, but I had not, and Juan had not. So, but they wanted to do it like 3 weeks or 2 weeks before our NAFM symposium, which is the planner is like, okay, listen, this is probably the worst time for me to go out of, not only be on vacation, but be out of the country. I said, so I told my wife and I told Emily, I'm like, listen, I will go. I will take care of finding an Airbnb, because where Jen lives, it's no commercialization. It's all mom and pop stuff along the east coast of Costa Rica. Yep. There's really no hotels. There's a lot of hostels. There are a lot of Airbnbs. So I said, I will go and I'll take care of that, but the rest of it, you guys have got to plan. I don't have the bandwidth mentally to do it. I'll go and I'll have fun, but understand I'm gonna have to work at night too, probably when we get back. It was from the moment we landed in Costa Rica, they had the car ready, because once you land in San Jose, it's a 4.5 hour van ride over the mountains to the East Coast. So, but they had the driver waiting for us. So we were able to get in the van, stop at this place along the road where a buffet type food and a C-store. So we were able to get some dinner and then load up on some booze and snacks and then get ready for the trip over the mountain. So it was fantastic. And the whole time we were 300 yards from black sand beaches. It was just a really cool, the Pura Vida vibe of Costa Rica is real, especially on the East Coast. It is a laid back, no worries type situation over there or down there. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. It was one of the most relaxing times I've ever had. And I did have to work a little bit at night, but honestly, during the day, it was just amazing. And I just found it everywhere I went. It was just because there was not a lot of commercialization. It was a chill area. So while I was there, the first night we walked into town, to have dinner, there's sloths in the trees, like wild. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen, that. So the second day we went into the sloth sanctuary of Costa Rica, which is up near where Jen lives in Coita. And while we were there, I learned a lot about the sloths, and as I was going through this sanctuary and hearing the stories and hearing what they do for the sloths, it tugged at the heartstrings a little bit. But I also realized by looking around that this place needed some help financially. You could tell from them they've got a lot of passion. It's family run, but you could also tell like the signage and stuff was a little faded, and it just felt like it needed a refresh almost. So that night back, we're talking about it at the Airbnb that night, and I couldn't tell you why, Davin, but that night we started talking about getting a tattoo, because there was a tattoo place we went by. I've never had one. I said, I'm getting one while we're here. So I designed a sloth with a golf ball. So it's sitting on top of a golf ball. And so the next night I went and got this tattoo. And as I'm laying there on the table for 4 hours, my tattoo artist doesn't speak fluent English. I don't speak fluent Spanish. So we didn't have a lot to talk about. We were able to communicate, but not a lot to talk. So while I'm laying there, I started thinking, like, hearing all this stuff about sloths. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying this this situation and this country and this vibe that I'm feeling so much. I do need to slow down a little bit. My mind is always racing. I need to slow down a little bit. Be more like a sloth in that area. They're also very efficient animals. Like they're not lazy, really. They're just really efficient in the way they burn energy. They have no defense mechanisms, really. So the trees is the only way they're safe. So in order to stay in the trees all day, every day for days on end, they can't use a lot of energy. So everything is meticulous the way they do things, and it's intentional. So when I'm laying there, I'm also thinking about my golf game, going, man, I've had people tell me I need to slow down my swing, and so all this is going through my head. So I'm just racing. Like, I'm not slowing down on the table at all, by the way. And so that night I get back to the Airbnb and I've got my new tattoo, and I start looking. I told my wife, I want to get something sloth related golf wise to wear this summer when I'm playing golf. It's one of my biggest passions. And so I couldn't find anything. So that night I said, you know what, we're going to start a side hustle. I want to design something where with sloths and golf related. And I said, I've been doing this for 30 years as an event planner. And while I absolutely still love it to this day, once I plan something and it's gone through and my team and I are done with it, it kind of just poofs into vanish in thin air. Yep. And you move on to the next one. And I said, I want to put something out into the world, something physical. So I came up with the idea for doing a golf apparel company, came back, started kicking it around, and came up with the idea for a company. And then I don't know anything about the fashion industry. I've never been accused of being fashionable. I didn't know how to make clothes or anything. So I started doing a lot of research on that, wrote a business plan, initially found an investor that for the last year, it went with working with a business partner on a company called Sloth Golf. That unfortunately did not work out, as it does quite often with partnerships. Yep. We had a little bit of a difference of opinion in February and I decided at that point to walk away. Yep. It wasn't going to be fun. It wasn't going to be, I'd lost control of it a little bit. And I just felt like if I'm not enjoying it and we're not able to work together very well to make it gel, it's not worth doing. I still have Forte to run. I still love what I do. I'm not looking for something to take over. Yep. So I pivoted and decided I'll start with another brand and I'm going to do it my way now. So about a month ago or month and a half ago, I came up with the idea for Fairway Sloth, which is a similar thing. I've still got my vendors ready to go and everything else. So clothing and all that's going to be available very soon now. Hats are being made as I speak. I'm going to pick them up tomorrow. And so, I want to put something out there. And as I told the wife in the very beginning, if this thing makes enough for us to go on vacation once a year on the side, great. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But what I really wanted to do with it was not only am I going to put something out in the world that's tangible, that you can see, I also wanted to give back to the sanctuary. So 5% of every sale is going back to the sanctuary. So if this thing gets big, as it could, then money starts flowing into them. So I went to them and said, hey, I want to do this. Are you cool with this? Because I want to make sure that you're okay with if I do this, because I am promoting you guys as well. And I don't want that without permission. The family was all about it. And then I also said to them, I want to come down and film a documentary about you guys. I want to talk about the family. I want to talk about what you guys do. So about a month ago, myself and Eric Havlin and my daughter went, and 3 of us flew down for 3 days to the sanctuary in Costa Rica and filmed everything. They let us have carte blanche access to anything we wanted. And so we've got a lot of footage to get through. So we started editing that a little bit to create the story of it. We're hoping for somewhere between 30 and 60-minute documentary when it's all said and done. And I just want to raise awareness for them to get money. That if whatever happens with the documentary, granted, selfishly, I'm going to use it for promotion on Sloth, Fairway Sloth. So, for social media, I'm going to chop that thing up and I'm going to use it for social channels and everything. But it will stay together too, so they can use it, we can use it. And I hope that, I do have some connection with some celebrities and things like that I'm going to try to pull when we've got more stuff closer, ready to be seen. And so my goal is just to raise the elevation of their space. It needs a little bit of help. Dude, I'm telling you, when Eric and I walked into their kitchen, especially, we were like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Like, we can't believe they're cooking. They're literally cooking off basically a 2-burner cooked up to a propane tank. They don't have a commercial dishwasher. They don't have a walk-in cooler. Their walk-in cooler basically rusted out, and they just couldn't afford to put another one in. So the space is still there, but they removed everything. So they're using a 3-door sliding door cooler for everything. a lot of things they keep is fresh. So they've got to keep the leaves and stuff that get fed. They have 155 sloths on premises, and they get 1 or 2 a week right now to rehab. And they come from either being hit by a car, being electrocuted from trying to crawl across power lines, or babies are sometimes abandoned by the mothers. So if somebody brings it in, they take it in. And then their goal is to rehab it, to release it. But literally about 60% of them, 70% of them cannot be released. And the baby learns how to survive the first year with the mother. So most babies that are abandoned can never be re-released out into the wild because they won't survive. They don't know how to survive. And a human can't teach them how to survive, how to know what to eat, what's poisonous, where to go, all those things. So it's really it's an intriguing thing what they do. And man, this family is all about it. And they do some amazing work and with very little. So I'm hoping that we can bring more awareness to them so that can change a little bit. They're not looking to get rich off this thing. They just want a little bit more comfortableness in it. They've got ideas of how they want to expand it. So they, instead of being in some of the cages, they can be in more free flow areas. But they've got 65 protected acres as well. The country of Costa Rica protected it. And so a lot of the sloths some of them can live in there as well. So, it's amazing what they do. So I'm going to get this company going. I hope it does very well. I have big plans for it. I'm fortunate enough that I know a few guys that play on the Corn Ferry Tour and the PGA. And I've got some other connections. So, I'm going to see what I can do with this company. Where it goes, I don't know. But it's also one of those things you're turning. At the time I was 54. I'm looking at it going, I kind of want to learn something new to keep my mind sharp too. So learning a whole nother industry has been really fun too. And
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't slow down at all, like I said.
No, wait, I've never seen you slow down. But what I love from that story is you've been, like, as I know you, you're busting your hump, you're working, you don't really want to go on this vacation. Your wife kind of drags you to it. You have this moment of serendipity or awareness, and you had a choice. You could have said, that's nothing, but you leaned into it. And then, like, just hearing that, you had all these choices along the way. You and Wade fashion is like, okay, I can see it. I know your Jedi mind working, but like, how do I give back? And like, that's a beautiful story. Taking something, like, had you not allowed yourself this, I don't want the space to like receive what's next for you. You would have missed it, but you didn't, and you took it. And now, not only is it affecting you positively, it's your wife, it's these beautiful sloths in Costa Rica, the community that's supporting them too.
Man, I'm telling you that Eric and I, when we first got there, we didn't know what to expect when we were filming. And my daughter she's starting to get into video and video editing and stuff like that. She works for me part-time and goes to school part-time, plus has a 4.5-year-old. So she is very busy, but it's something she's been interested in. So she actually filmed all the behind the scenes stuff. So she's filming Eric and I while we're filming with the sanctuary. We didn't really know what we had until halfway through the first day. We're on the boat. There's a part of the tour is you go up and down this river with a guide on a boat, and you see them, and you see sloths out in the trees, and you see other animals that are along the river. And when we saw the footage of us with his nickname is Nacho. This dude he's a good looking guy. He is so articulate. He is so good at what he was explaining. He was an amazing guide. And when we saw the very first footage of that, we both looked at each other, said, holy shit, man, we actually have something here. Like, this is going to be really cool. It looked amazing. And it was just Eric and I in the boat filming with him. So we had a couple cameras on him. It just, I can't wait. And then we got to see, we're showing everything too. We're going to show how bad the kitchen is. We're going to show how run down some of the things are that they need help with. Because I told them this is as much as me using it for social as it is for us to raise money for you. This isn't a selfish thing for Wade. This is more about me getting you guys money and you guys benefiting from it more than me. So, but you'll see that one of the things we did, they had a sloth brought in 4 or 5 days before that they had to do an amputation on one of the paws and remove the claws. Well, they had to change the bandages that day. So we filmed it, and it's not pretty,
Right.
but we want to show what really happens to these sloths in the real world and what these people with very little resources are doing and how they're well taken care of for these sloths.
That's amazing. And Wade, I'm winking at you here. If you only knew people that manufactured combi ovens or walk-in coolers or etc. But like, kudos to you.
We said that right away. We said, for what we do for a living and who we know,
yeah,
it's a shame that we see this, but I don't want to, the two worlds I'm trying to keep very separate. So I don't want to cross them over, but I do want to bring in, I am going to talk to some of our Latin America consultants while I'm out in Phoenix, because I do want them, who knows what they've got. And listen, it doesn't have to be new stuff. Somebody might know of somebody that's getting rid of something that can be used, and it would be great. Like, we want to help them with whatever we can help them with. And, I don't want to take advantage of it, but I definitely want to raise awareness to it. If somebody wants to do something for them, man, I'd be grateful. But there's no quid pro quo stuff out of it. There's no anything out of it. It's just like, if it tugs at your heartstrings like it did mine, then I hope somebody does something for them. So that's the goal.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. When I hear you talking, like the sloths can represent how we treat each other. It's like
100%.
Somebody's in need, or a friend's in need, or a loved one's in need, or somebody you don't know is in need. It's like, what do you do? Lean in when nobody's looking, because nobody was looking when you started this except your wife and your daughter. Right. And now you can bring awareness to it. I think it's such a fantastic story. And I'm excited
for Fairway Sloth, because actually I like the logos even better than the original Sloth. So I will get you a hat to replace the one you already got. But it's I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Again, it could it grow into something big? Maybe. Yeah. Could it remain a side hustle? Absolutely. But as long as it's giving back, and there is a certain celebrity out there that I'm sort of manifesting. I won't say it publicly here because I don't want to do that yet. But there is a certain I will say female celebrity that has a massive love of sloths that I potentially have somewhat of a connection to, and I'm going to try to get them to help either narrate or make an appearance or something within the documentary to raise the awareness and actually, help publicity wise. But as I told Eric, and I've told my wife, and I've told the people at the sanctuary, if they get involved and they don't get involved, but they all of a sudden become aware of the sanctuary, if they go down privately without me even knowing it and see it, and they give money to them, dude, I've done my job. That's what it's about. It doesn't have to benefit me. Would I love it to? Of course, selfishly. But as long as it helps the sanctuary, that's really what it's about for me.
And that's why you continue to, that's how that mindset, Wade, is how you create goodness in the world. It's not like,
I hope so.
Ultimately, right. Yeah. You're going out of the gate. If folks are interested, do you have a timeline on the documentary? Like, do you have anything in mind?
It's going to take us probably 3 to 6 months to edit. But so by the end of the year, I hope to have the documentary live, and I will push it out there to everybody and anybody. And I will be ad nauseum talking about it probably for a while. So
I will post it on my channels, my friend. I will make sure the world knows about sloths.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And everybody else, Sloth Sanctuary of Costa Rica. The other thing we're going to do for them is their website's terrible. And I told them that. They're not, they know it. And so the other thing I'm doing for them is I'm working with Eric and his group too at Fuse, and we're going to redo their website for them, completely overhaul it. And that way make it a little bit nicer, a little bit more friendlier, a little bit more in your face, and you just modernize it, because they need that too. And people are tourists. Listen, I hate to give away a little secret, but if you've never been to the East Coast of Costa Rica, down in Limon and Puerto Viejo and Cahuita and stuff, man, go. it's a long haul to get over there from San Jose. I will say that it's a 4.5-hour van ride, but just hire a car service. They know the areas to stop at, enjoy the ride over the mountain. And then when you're down there in the East Coast, it's life-changing. It's slow moving areas with just full of mom and pop restaurants and bars that they love having you there. It's not tourist heavy, at least not yet. There's no Marriott's and Hilton's and Hyatt's and all that stuff. It's all just mom and pop there is some little hotels. There's definitely a lot of Airbnbs, but I recommend people get out and take a look at it. Plus the black sand beaches, which I'd never seen before, were just amazing as well. So,
and I'd imagine they're as happy as anybody else in the world. And they may not have, 3.5 bedrooms and, you name it. It's quality of life.
And where else do you get to ride in a tuk-tuk? I mean, a little 3-wheel thing that they drive around, and that's pretty much how you get around.
I've never been on one. I want to ride on one, Wade.
You do need to ride on one. And they even, since the first time and then the last time I was there, they actually have a mobile app now where you can order tuk-tuks. Before, you'd have to get to know the driver, get their number on WhatsApp, and then message them to come get you or take you somewhere, or you just find somebody on the streets and take you somewhere. And it's cheap. It's just a really great place. And then if you're going down there, the Coweta National Forest is a cool hike. And then of course the Sloth Sanctuary of Costa Rica is there. Go the tours, see what started it all. It's well worth the time and the effort.
I love it. Well, usually we have an hour. Wade, do you mind to keep talking?
No, I'm good, man. Whatever you need.
All right. So I'm going to do a little pivot. Thank you, everyone. Just check out Sloth, Fairway Sloth, coming your way soon. Look for the documentary. I can't wait to see it. Do a little pivot back to our industry. Is there what? I guess it's twofold. What are you most excited about our industry, and is there anyone or group that you're like, oh gosh, I love what they're doing within our industry? And it could be either or both.
I love how our industry has to adapt on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You can't sit still in the food service industry.
Yeah.
It'll pass you by too quickly. Whether it's design, whether it's flow, whether it's a menu, you just can't do it. Only a few restaurants can even get away with hanging on to the old ways. And a lot of them don't either over time. So I think that the other part of the industry that I absolutely love is just the people. Anybody that works in hospitality industry is just, I very seldom have bad interactions with people. So I also manage the Illinois Destinations Association, which is the convention and visitor bureaus of the state of Illinois. So they're all hospitality people too. So when I go to their events and things, it's similar. It's it's a hospitality industry. People are welcoming. People like to be around each other. It's all people, so if you will. So that part of it, anybody that's doing really good, it's hard to say who's doing really, really good at times because everybody has their own lane to stay in. So there's definitely the alphabet groups that I admire and what they're doing with AHF and SHFM and correctional, and then I've got the other groups that are I would kind of behind the scenes, like I do a lot with MOFSI and NAFM and Cefesa and once in a while FIDA, and so seeing what everybody does, nobody's resting on their laurels anymore, and you can't. And I think probably the big unknown, and you talked about it in the beginning, and we talked about it before we started today, and that is AI. What's it going to do to this industry?
Yeah,
every part of it, not just the design side, but the restaurant side. And I don't know that it's a good thing, to be honest with you. I love AI. I'm a big believer in it, but I'm also scared to death of it because I'm seeing at this point, even ChatGPT becoming, with ads and stuff, it's becoming already focusing on the wrong stuff rather than just being a helper. My wife, I still think, said it best with a ChatGPT type help or Copilot or whatever you're going to use. It's like a really good secretary that you have to check their work, because you really can't trust everything you're going to read from it. So I still cautiously optimistic, and there's so much of the AI stuff that I'm not even aware of yet. Like I even feel like every week I feel like I'm falling a little bit further and further behind, because I'm trying to keep up with the AI for associations as well as the AI for food service, and not just all food service. I'm mainly worried about the AI for the design industry. So
Yeah.
So and then also everybody having to protect themselves. I think that's going to be another big thing that's going to come up soon. Is you want to promote everything you're doing. So as a designer, you want to put out your drawings, you want to put out what's out there, but the moment you put it out there, it becomes easier and easier for an AI person to grab it and use it.
Yeah.
And without you knowing it. So there's a lot of things that have to work through. I don't think I'm saying anything that's not already known, but it's certainly a little bit of a catch-22 situation right now with AI.
Yeah. I feel like we should ask my 12-year-old, because he probably knows more than you and I combined, like, already. It's real. It's interesting, and you're right.
But there's tons of it that are amazing too.
Yeah.
When it comes to scheduling, when it comes to helping, when it comes to finding the next flight if yours gets canceled, all the AI that's working in the background. Most people just know ChatGPT and stuff like that. But we've been working with AI has been around for many, many years. We're just hearing about it now. But all the other stuff that's amazing, with Siri and everything else, it just keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter. So there's definitely a part of it that I absolutely love having now, and the other part that makes me cautiously optimistic.
Well, and we're Gen X, so we remember Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator. So I think any Gen Xers like, wait a minute, if I see a guy in metal coming, and all bets are off. Exactly. I love it. Well, Wade, part of my my podcast, and it's I call it now for something completely different, and I'm actually ripping it off of Monty Python. Please don't trademark me. I have 7 questions I like to ask my guests.
All right.
And for everyone listening, you are not aware of these questions, correct?
No, I've never heard them, which makes me very scared.
Right.
We'll see how many eye rolls you get now.
You got it. If you answer all 7 questions right, you will get a prize or a gift at the end. So I'm gonna
hold on. Let me bring up ChatGPT. Hold on.
There you go. Hey, there you go. Full circle it. I love it. I think these will be pretty. These will be layups.
Okay.
Knowing you're a sneakerhead, Puma, Adidas, or Nike?
I have to go Nike.
Okay.
You've got Dunk Lows. You got Air Force Ones. I have to go Nike.
I don't disagree with you. Although I have a little thing for Puma, I'm with you. So
you've got a pair of Pumas I loved. You wore them at NAFM.
Okay, I will wear those again. I know exactly those Pumas. I will bring those to Arizona.
Do you want a sneak peek before the next question?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Do I ever?
So I had customs made for FCSI, as I always do.
Yeah.
These were made custom, so I will show you one of the shoes, at least for now. They're kind of so for those of you who don't know who I am or what I've done, back in 2012 was my first conference I did for FCSI as the executive. 14 then was the very first one I planned everything. I had the site visits and everything else. And 12 went okay. 14 was amazing. And I bought a new pair of white tennis shoes for that 14 conference. And I'm very superstitious at times. So since then, since 2014, before every conference or symposium, I buy a new pair of white sneakers. Now, I never knew anybody was paying attention at all. I had no idea until 2018 when we had our closing keynote that year was a comedian, Tom Papa.
Oh, yeah.
And I had forgotten to bring water up on the stage, so I brought him some water up within the first 3 minutes of his act, and he made a comment about my white tennis shoes. And I had no idea that everybody talked about that, evidently, because then everybody, I was like, oh, yeah, we knew about that, and we see it all the time. And so now it's become a thing that it's not only superstitions, it's sort of expected. So then I tried to up my game a little bit and started making custom ones for conferences. So this one, I've got a designer for Fairway Sloth that is in New York City. She actually does custom shoes as well. So I had her take a pair of Air Force Ones. I went really, really, really low key on these though. Just I don't want to oversell them, but I went really low key. So basically, here's the one side. They were all white when they were started. She's painted all the yellow, all the purple, and on this side,
the shut the front door, dude. Those are sick, man.
And then I'll show it to you the next one. The second one is a different color.
Oh my gosh, Oregon Ducks! Look at that.
Fairway Sloth.
Oh my gosh, Wade, those are fantastic.
So those are my shoes for next week in Phoenix. So you get the first scene of those as well.
We're breaking news, man. This is the day of breaking news. I love that.
So there's my answer for your Nike thing for sure.
Okay, that's fair. I see why.
Yeah.
Second question: Favre or Rodgers?
Oh,
God. I knew that would be the tough one. I knew, but yeah.
Man.
Headaches aside.
I was gonna say that's the hard part. They both were great as a Green Bay Packer, both personally off the field. They have very unlikable characteristics at times.
Yep.
I think I'll go by this. Who would I rather sit at a bar with and have a beer with? And I think if that's the case, I would go with Favre.
Yep.
I think he'd be more fun to hang out with for one night and tell stories than Rodgers would be. Although Rodgers would be incredibly intelligent to talk to too, but probably I couldn't. I know I couldn't hang with him. So
after he got out of his bio chamber and
exactly.
That's fair. Even as a Bears fan, game knows game, and I get Favre. Yeah.
He's a gunslinger, he's kind of like off the cuff and everything. Rodgers was fantastic though too.
Yeah.
I hated the way both of them ended their careers though. Although Rodgers still may be done, who knows?
we may never know. Talking about Bloomington Normal, the horseshoe, if I'm saying that right, is it worth the hype? And if people are coming down to Bloomington Normal, should they?
Okay, well, I'm going to correct you on that because the horseshoe actually originated in Springfield, Illinois, not Bloomington, Illinois. But I lived in Springfield for a few years now. So is the horseshoe worth it? Yes, 100%. Okay. Now, my selection of choice is ground beef patties, so hamburgers over the toast, then fries, then the cheese sauce. Although I can go with a buffalo chicken one as well. Both are really good. But my go-to most of the time was the simple hamburger horseshoe.
Okay.
But yes, it's not healthy at all, obviously, but it's so worth it. Yeah.
Anybody going to the Bloomington Normal Springfield area, you have to check it out. I've had it before. And to your point, you bring a pair of sweatpants and a bib because there's no easy way to eat it, and it is so good.
Now, I will to as a caveat though, I will say it's kind of like up in Canada with the gravy as well. Like the cheese sauce for the horseshoe makes all the difference in the world, and everybody for the most part has their own proprietary type cheese sauce. So it can be I have had bad horseshoes because of the sauce. So it can be bad. So it depends on the sauce, or it depends on the cheese sauce, really.
I'm with you. I'm hungry.
Anything covered in cheese. Come on, man.
Dude, we're Midwestern boys. Right?
Yeah. Nachos, waffle fries, hot dogs. Whatever. Put the cheese on it. Italian beef with cheddar cheese on it. Oh, forget
all you people eating your Sprouts, you don't know what you're missing. Put cheese on everything.
Idea. Go to Portillo's and get an Italian beef dipped with cheese sauce on it.
Preach, brother, preach. I'm with you. You may have already answered it. Here's my next question. Favorite travel destination? And I know you've done a bunch of travel.
That's tough. I've been very, very fortunate that FCSI has taken me around this globe. I love, for what it's worth, Costa Rica is amazing. I will say probably because of the family history with my wife and everything, one of the coolest vacations I've had is Scotland. But
Scotland.
my wife is second generation removed, so I went over there 2 years ago with her, and we went to the Open Championship for golf, which was my bucket list item. But then the second one was her family grew up in the lowlands. Her maiden name was Gordon, which is in the Highlands. And so we actually got to visit her great grandparents' graves on both sides of her family.
Wow.
And we got to visit her great grandfather's pub that he owned. It's not in the family anymore, but we got to go visit it. It was kind of scary, if I'm being honest. A little bitty town. And then I'll tell you a very quick story about that. And the reason it had such a big pull in my heart is we were in a little bitty town called Ayr. And we were at this little cafe on a Monday. It seats 10 people. Amazing breakfast, though, and it was two older ladies running the place. They were so friendly, but of course, we're the typical Americans saying we're there visiting family. They hear that all the time from the Americans.
Yep.
But my wife knew genealogy really well and actually had her papers and stuff with her. She was carrying with it and everything. So one of the ladies brings out 2 history books of the town of Ayr, and so we gives it to my wife and I, and so we're thumbing through it, and I'm looking through one, she's looking through the other. I get halfway through the book, and I see a picture, and I say, Jeannie, I think this might be your great uncle. And so we look it up, and in this book, in front of his general store in Ayr, and this was back in the 1800s, whatever it was a picture of him standing in front of it, and sure enough, it was her uncle, or great, whatever the great. However many greats you want to put in front of it would have been, but it was her uncle. And it generally, and so then of course, the ladies that were running it and a couple of the other patrons that were in the cafe with us thought it was the coolest thing in the world, because now we really are related to them and things. Yeah. So they actually had my wife sign the book and date it when we were there and stuff. And then that year was the Illinois gold coin for the dollars.
Yep.
So we took a bunch of the gold coins with us. And so even though it wasn't worth much money, it was such a unique thing that my wife was handing them out as kind of like a thank you to people, whether it was a tip, whether it was, hey, thanks for the help. And so I could not believe in people in Scotland, how many people got like emotionally choked up from giving a coin to them. It was, right. I'm looking at him going, literally, it's $1. It's worth less than $1 here. Relax. But evidently there's a bunch of coin collectors in Scotland, because one of the waiters that she gave it to ended up breaking down in front of us because his dad is a coin collector and he'd never seen something like this. Again, little impacts that you have on people that you don't even know you're doing it just from doing a nice gesture.
Yeah.
And I have to keep doing that for myself. Costa Rica, then a year later, I just want to keep having those moments.
And the beautiful thing is, the more you do, the more it opens up and the more beauty comes into your life and success and happiness. And I love that story, Wade. That's fantastic.
Scotland and Costa Rica. I
love it. You already answered the one about trends. So you already got that one right. The last one, and this is for all the marbles, any sage advice or Wade advice you would give a consultant joining our industry, or frankly, a manufacturer, anybody coming into food service? What would you tell them? What would you tell them if they said, Wade, what should I do?
I think I've kind of mentioned it before, but honestly, get as much education as you can. You'll never stop learning. As a consultant, you can never stop learning.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should ever stop learning. I don't care if you're a consultant or not. I think you should constantly be challenging your mind. I think it's healthier that way.
Yeah.
I don't read, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I just, for some reason, reading makes me fall asleep. And the other thing is, and I know this is hard for some people, but you've got to be a little bit of an extrovert. You got to get out. And if you're not one, you got to get out of your own head and become one, sort of. Network is so important in the food service industry. And not only for the reasons of getting to know people and getting to make those connections and learning new things, but the food service industry is very, very networked heavy as far as you don't know where your next opportunity may come from.
That's right.
And it could be somebody you meet at an SHFM or an AHF or a NAFM or a MOFSI or SFESA or whoever, any of the other alphabet groups that I mentioned. You might just be at a conference and talking to 5 people, but then a year later, you might get a call out of the blue. Hey, are you looking for anything? Are you, if you're looking for a job or if you're looking for a new contact for this, or, I'll give you a prime example. I'm down at NAFM sales, whatever the executive meeting that they had not too long ago, down in New Orleans. The president of MOFSI is there. So I'm sitting with her at lunch, and she's got 2 friends that do animal documentaries for a living. I don't know that. If I don't sit down and talk with her, I don't know that. And so now I've got those contacts. So once we get done editing or get into editing, I might reach out to them and ask for help and pay them a little bit of money to help us out. But, those type of things happen because you just start talking to people.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be sales. It just have a conversation, man. I'm an open book. You know that. Anybody that knows me knows that. I don't pull punches. I'm an honest guy to a fault. Probably. There's not a lot of filter sometimes, unfortunately or fortunately.
Nope.
But you know where you stand with me, and man, I'll help anybody I can. Like I think one of the people I interviewed with a long time ago on a podcast said, you don't really know what you do, but what you do, he's telling me I didn't know what I did because I didn't really have a good answer for it.
Yeah.
And he said, what you do is you connect people. That's what you do for a living. And I thought about him like, damn, he's right. That's what a conference is about. And I love doing those. When I go out to people, like, or even in town or whatever, like, hey, I know this person that does this. I'll put you in touch with them. I don't need anything out of it. There's no quid pro quo again, like anything from that. I like helping people make their lives easier. And love me or hate me, doesn't matter to me. I don't really care. I'm going to be me. So I hope you love me. Wade. I hope you like me. But if you don't, I understand. I can be a lot sometimes. So sure. I like to make people laugh. I don't take life very seriously at most of the time, except when I'm on site. You'll see that next week. I'm usually pretty dialed in.
I've seen that Wade face until he knows everything is good, and then I see the other Wade face.
Once I can breathe, I'm good. Yeah.
Well, Wade, I looked at all 7. You got them right. Got 7 out of 7. So great job. Woo-hoo. Look for your gift next week. I'll bring it with me. Awesome. Just a couple things to wrap up. It's funny. Every time I do a podcast, I write a quote, not knowing where the conversation's going. And this is the quote, and I don't even know where I read it. But I'm going to read what I wrote down. And this is so apropos today. All I give is given. So it's so apropos, like your story, just weaving in and out from Sloth to FCSI, the documentary, everything is, you're a prime example of, as you give, you receive. So that's just
100%. I'm a big karma guy. I think if you put goods out into the world, you're going to get good back. And I've been that way pretty much my entire life. And I credit that to my mom. My mom was that way. When she was around, she always tried to be the rose-colored glasses and tried to think of the best. I can certainly go down dark paths at times, and I'm paid to be down those dark paths at times. As an executive for an association, I'm paid to think of the worst case scenario sometimes.
Right.
But I always try to figure out in my own life and personal life, like what can we do to make things better? Look, the world sucks right now. I travel the world. I get to talk to people. If you read the headlines, we're going to hell in a handbasket. The world, the sky is falling. And I'm not denying that a lot of it isn't really negative. But man, when you're out with people and I'm down in, whether I'm in New Orleans or Scotland or whatever, I don't see it. I talk to the people that are really genuinely nice people, and I like being around and meet people. And so I just feel like if you can keep doing that, we just make the world a little bit better place and shut out some of the crap noise. Because again, another part of the AI stuff that I don't like is I don't think half the headlines we read now are even true. It's hard to find the truth right now. So kind of try to ignore it. Don't engage in it so much that you become hatred towards one side or another.
Yep.
And try to find the happy medium in the middle. And we're all human beings when it all comes down to it. We need to
trying
help
to
each
figure
other.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. And like you can take a page out, not that you and I are shattering, but like I wouldn't trade this for anything. Like just having a conversation, two guys shooting the stuff around food service and life, and like that's where you find it all, man.
Absolutely. And it's therapeutic, man. There are, again, I'm an open book. So like people can ask me damn near anything they want to ask me, and I'll tell them the truth if I can.
Right.
When there's some FCSI stuff I can't talk about at times, but not very often. But I've talked about my mental health. I've talked about my daughter, raising her with her mental health. I've talked about my family's, pregnancy issues we had with my wife and I for a while. People have heard my stories at times.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to share stuff because I know that everybody out there is going through shit. Yep. And so like, if they know that I'm going through it, then reach out and we'll talk. Like, and I think it's happened many times over. I'm shocked sometimes when I'm talking to somebody or I'm on a podcast or whatever, and I tell a story that for me is, I'm not doing it to I'm kind of just doing it to let people know that I'm human too.
Right.
But people reach out afterwards and go, "Oh my God, I had no idea. I'm so sorry, but I also went through this and now I'm going through this," or whatever. So everybody's got demons or things going on behind the scenes that nobody wants to know about. I'm a big believer. Just talk about them, get them out in the open as much as we can.
And the best gift you can give somebody is like, the best gift I can give you, Wade, is to bring who I am to you. Yeah. Like just be who I am, and vice versa. That's the greatest gift you can give somebody. Well,
and you're talking to the void posts and stuff. Like you're being open and raw with those. Yeah. You're not just sugarcoating crap. Like, and that appreciates, because you don't know who's seeing that message that morning that isn't dealing with what you're dealing with. Maybe they're dealing with something completely different. Yeah. And they hear what you have to say and go, "Yeah, okay, I'm good for today."
Right. Because I'm just trying to navigate now post-cancer, and it's not all the time now. Like during treatment, it was like every stinking day, because I'm like, am I going to die? And I mean, eventually that day will come, but it's not probably won't happen today. But now it's like navigating what's next too. So
yeah, no, it's true. The story. I won't get into it a lot, but I lost both my parents. I'm an only child, lost both parents within 6 months of each other separately. Yeah. And, that gave me a whole nother look on life. And I lost both of them quickly. And so it's one of those areas where, man, you just don't know when it's going to end. Could be tomorrow. Could be 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. Could be 40 years from now. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm certainly going to try to make the best of it while I'm here. And I want everybody else to do the same thing.
Amen, brother. And that light and that, from that trauma or that just pain is, it goes back to the story today, like taking that and then just creating light in the world through it. So you do that like chef kiss, as you will. You're doing that really well, brother. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Like, we're going to wrap things up again. I wanted to first thank Vivro again for just allowing me this space to do this, the space and place. Wade, dude, I can't thank you enough. Like, time stood still. Yeah, I love talking with you, man.
You too, man. We've talked plenty of times, and I'm honored you wanted me to be on your show, and I appreciate the time and be able to talk about FCSI and Fairway Sloth and the Sloth Sanctuary and everything, man. I appreciate it. And I look forward to, maybe sharing a cocktail or two next week together.
Let's do it. Drinks are on Shane Varnum. He doesn't know this, but they're on him next week. So
I agree. He doesn't know that he's picking up the entire FCSI bar tab.
He's a good guy.
I'm sure he won't mind. We'll just give him the opening party. Don't worry about the rest.
That's it, Shane. You'll be fine.
It's only the heaviest drinking night. Don't worry about it.
That's right. What could go wrong?
Actually, we should just make him sing with the dueling pianos.
Love it. Well, he's a Red Sox fan, so it has to be Sweet Caroline.
Okay. He's going to like my next announcement then.
Okay.
So he's going to like it a lot.
All right. We'll pause that. Well, that'll be our little tickler.
That's coming soon.
I love that. Well, awesome.
That's a tease for the next episode.
There you go. I love it. We may have to bring you back on and just do Wade 2.0, man.
Nobody wants that. Trust me.
Love it, brother. Well, awesome. Well, Wade, thanks again. See you next week. See our friends at FCSI. Can't wait. And dude, you are the man, brother.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.